everybody, welcome back. Happy New Year. If you are new, welcome. My name is Courtney. I am a final year PhD student at Imperial College London. Today's video, we're going to be talking about 9 habits of successful PhD students, 9 habits that help you to get through that PhD program. So the first tip is time management and planning. And you probably hear this a lot, but a PhD program is very autonomous. You're driving the work. And in order to get the progress that you need to advance for your different milestones, you're going to need to be able to manage your time properly, set targets for yourself, set times to do certain tasks to make sure that you get them done. A PhD program, unlike a master's or an undergrad taught program, there's no one telling you, come to class at this hour, do this at this hour. You have to take the initiative. So to be successful, PhD students tend to have good time management skills, or they either come out of a PhD program with good time management and planning skills. How you develop these skills depends on you and what you use to develop these skills. Some of the things that some people use are to-do lists. They set regular meetings with their supervisors so that they make sure that they have a hard deadline that they're gonna meet every week or every 2 weeks or so forth. But how you manage your time is up to you and finding the time that is best for you as a PhD student. The second habit of a good PhD student, I don't know what a good PhD student, I guess a habit that helps a PhD students excel is being organized. So I did a video with Dr. Amina Yanis in 2019, and that video was about lab-based research. I myself am desk-based, so I don't go to the lab, but being organized is essential for success in your PhD. If you are a lab student, your times are dependent on others. You have to make sure that you prep your samples and so forth. You can go and check that video out if you're interested in what she had to say. I think for me it was very much an eye-opener because I didn't have to approach my work that way. But to be successful in your PhD, you have to be very organized, not just in your time, but in terms of your filing system, the papers you read, how you keep your notes, all of that, because having clear areas of work and being organized would really help you to write up more efficiently and more quickly when, later down in those 3 to 5 years when you're writing up your thesis. Another habit that you can use to become better during your PhD program and see more results is to avoid dwelling on those mundane tasks. And by this, what I mean is they're very simple tasks that we tend to put off. For example, responding to an email, quickly get it, something that really takes 2 minutes. And this is also in the book, Getting Things Done. If it takes you less than a minute or 2 minutes, just do it, get it off your mind, and then focus on the things that really matter. So generally within the day, you might have to respond to an email very quickly, and then you can get into the research and reading and get immersed in your research for the rest of the day. On that note of emails though, one of the good things that you can do is do batch timing for your emails so that you don't get distracted and drawn out of your work when you're really focused. Now, one of the things I often hear supervisors say, and something that was said to me in the beginning of my research as well, which is make your PhD your life. But really and truly, you need to have a life outside of the PhD for this process to be enjoyable. Your PhD shouldn't be something that makes you hate life. As PhD students, our daily routines become quite monotonous sometimes, and it's really important to do the things that you love, whether that's swimming, going to the gym, meeting family, friends, going out. Find something that you love and brings you joy so that you can keep refreshing yourselves and going into each week and each day happy and fulfilled and ready to work. Also, doing stuff outside of the PhD, whether that be reading self-development books or whatever it is that you love, it often helps to bring some perspective to your work. And you might meet somebody today and then that helps you in terms of how you approach your work the next day. In a PhD journey, mental health is so important in making sure that you have the right mindset to be motivated for the work and to keep going in the long term. 5 is something that I myself even struggled with, and that is to write regularly. As a PhD student, you're normally either reading or in the lab, conducting experiments, coding, doing some sort of research. But at the end of the day, the thesis comes down to the written work and being able to translate all that you have done over that time period into that document that one day I hope to hold for myself and you will hold and submit. Getting everything in that document is what is key for passing the thesis. By writing regularly, it not only helps you to practice your writing style and improve on your writing, but it also helps you to keep track of what you're doing. So even when you're reading, write notes about what you've read and put that in a proper folder. This takes us back to, being organized. Write down the method that you did, and that way when it comes to writing up, you not only have the practice, but you have the information ready at hand. Number 6 is to avoid perfectionism and being a perfectionist. I myself struggle with this, and a lot of PhD students struggle with this. It is your work, it's a body of your work, you want it to be perfect. But don't let perfection be the enemy of progress, because a good PhD is a finished PhD. Don't let that idea of having a perfect chapter or a perfect paper stop you from actually doing that paper and submitting that paper to your supervisor, to a journal. You're going to get feedback. It might be harsh, it may not be. But either way, by submitting what you have, you're going to learn and grow from that, and it's going to help you to make that work better in the long run. That takes me into my other habit, which is not being afraid to ask for help. Ask your supervisors for help when you're unsure about things. Ask your other colleagues, your lab assistants, your lab team. They can help you. They've been there, those ahead of you, they've been there. Stand on their shoulders. And then if you find a paper that you don't quite understand but you're very interested in it, send an email to the author. Most times you find that academics are really interested in talking about their work, and you can better understand that so that you yourself can maybe apply that methodology in your work. Another essential habit of good PhD students, and what you really need to come out at the other end of a PhD journey, is persistence. The PhD journey is a marathon. It's a winding road and a roller coaster. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be stretches of days, weeks, even months when you feel like you're not making the progress that you want to, not getting where you want to get. But in those moments, you have to stop for a second, assess the situation, come up with a plan. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't work. You may fail at that. And then you have to reassess and try again. And from each of these, you will learn something. And that is what you take forward to keep moving forward each time that you hit a stumbling block. A good research question takes time. So it's not going to be that easy to just get it over with 1, 2, 3. You're going to have to hit those blocks and hammer through those. And by doing that, you yourself are going to come out more resilient at the end. And the reason why successful PhD students tend to be persistent and resilient is because of this other and final habit, which is they look at the big picture. A PhD is a long journey, and it can sometimes feel like it's going on forever, especially if you feel like you're not making progress. But looking at the big picture helps you to set those different milestones that you have along the way. For us in the UK, we have a first-year assessment, or an LSR, an upgrade as we call it, to become official PhD students from the MPhil degree. And then in our second year, we have another assessment, and then you'll have your Viva. Keeping these milestones in mind, and then assessing whether everything that you're doing each day, each month, each week is taking you towards achieving and meeting these milestones will help you to stay motivated and keep going through this long journey that sometimes feels never ending and very lonely. So whatever you're working on, keep it in the context of the bigger goal, which is your PhD thesis, and assess whether each thing that you're doing is getting you to that point, and that will help you to make sure that you're persistent, you stay organized, and you manage your time properly, and you don't spend time on those mundane tasks that are not contributing directly to that goal. But in all of it, make sure that you have fun and take time for you. So those are some of the habits that I observe of very successful PhD students, and those are some that I myself am trying to adopt as I go through this journey. So if you enjoyed that video, please give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.